Hello, my name's Ryan Egret, and here's my story.
You know, I started hunting and fishing when I was 4 or 5 years old. First hunting trip, deer hunting, I fell in love with it. Ever since then, I've never missed a season, and it's just great fun. It's a new adventure every time I go out in the woods. Well, I've killed deer with compounds, compound bows, rifles, all that. It just became easy, so I decided to take it to another level. I started flint knapping a guy here in Kyoto named Ed Nord. He taught me everything I know about flint knapping, and I sure appreciate it. I want to know it. Well, I started making my own bows and my own arrows, and kept getting better at it, until I got shootable equipment. And it's just something that takes time to figure out. And like you see here, I've got some of them that's half finished, one in the back that's completely finished. I go gather up all the stuff I need from the woods here in Oklahoma and make my equipment that I hunt with. From the flint to the cane and the bow dark, which most of y'all know is horse apple. Well, I get it and I build my equipment to go hunting with. It makes it more of a challenge and it's a lot of fun. So we'll start with the arrowheads. Okay, right here on Elephant Bluff at Elephant Bluff Nature Trail. And I come to this place because of the abundance of flint. There's flint everywhere. And of course a flint napper, likes a place he can find a bunch of good flint. Right up here some, but it's a little bit veiny, some of it a little bit chalky. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go on down the ridge here a little bit and see if we can get some better stuff. And I just about bet we can. Okay, finally made it down the ridge where I found some good flint a few weeks past, and got down here and I right off the bat found a piece of gray boone, which makes a beautiful point, real beautiful point. And this piece is a little bit chalky, but just on up here about 15 foot, some better stuff, and we're gonna go up there and see if we can get some of that. See right here, on the entrance to this cave right here, I've discovered a while back that really, really good flint for making some real good shooters, because it's don't have very much chalk at all, if any. Some pieces don't have any. It's really glassy flint, And once I heat it and I go to pressure flaking, well, it's already in sheets, so I don't have to work an hour or two taking so much of that flint down. I could just, go around it 2 or 3 times a pressure flaker, which I'll show you later on, and it'll I can make a point, in shorter time. All right, once we get the flint gathered, like we do right now, I'll take it back home and I'll put it all in a pile, kind of not too tall of a pile, but kind of scattered out a little bit. And I'll go gather up some old hickory logs, something kind of hot burning. Well, then I'll build a fire on top of it, and the next day the fire is pretty much already burnt out and the coals are pretty much gone. So then I'll take the flint and I'll put it up so it don't get rained on anymore. And what the fire does is draw the moisture out of flint and kind of tempers it so I can run a flake better. Okay, we went to Tahlequah. We found some really nice flint. We brought it back home. We fired it, which brought the moisture out, tempered it, made it easier to work with. And I'm gonna take this piece of rock and turn it into a legal, shootable arrowhead, and that's what we call flint knapping. Now we got this piece of flint that's ready to go. We're ready to start bopping. So first thing I wanna do is get the edges good and ground, rough them up, which makes my bopping tool bite on them, and it runs the flakes for you. We'll see if we can get it thinned down to a preform. Once I get a preform, we'll put down a bopping tool and we will go to the pressure flaking tool and a pressure flaking pad, and hopefully we can turn out a good point. Anytime you bop, where you put your fingers, you want to hold a little bit of pressure on it right there, and that's normally where it will flake at when it's struck. Okay, now what we got here is a preform. So what I'm going to do now is put down a bopping tool and pick up my pressure flaker, and we'll turn it hopefully into a finished arrowhead. And now we've got us a preform bopped out, and what I'm going to do, I put down the bopping tool, I'm gonna pick up the pressure flaker and a pressure flaking pad. Okay, first step here, always grind the edge of the rock so the pressure flaking tool will bite on it. So that's what we're doing right here. We'll grind it down, grind it down. Okay, we're ready to start pressure flaking. So that's what we're gonna do here. And hopefully when we're done, we have a really nice 1.5 by 7/8 legal shooting tip. What I'm trying to do is thin it down, because right now if you went ahead and made a point out of it, as you can tell, it'd be way too big. So we're gonna thin it down and see what we come up with. Let's start back here at the base. Sometimes they can be tough, but you want to go all the way down, around the other side, and try to thin it up, just so we can get it to fit inside of a cane shaft. Okay, now we're putting the finishing touches on it's a little bit longer than 1.5 inches, a little bit wider than 7/8, just be on the safe side, legal arrowhead that's ready to be put inside a cane shaft so we can go hunting. Okay, we come to this area in between Keota and Stigler where, as you can see, cane grows, and it grows really straight. I don't have to do much straightening. And this right here looks like it'll be a very, very good arrow piece. And I'll explain to you that just here in a second. So we'll cut it kind of low, so I've got plenty to work with. Okay, we got this piece cut. So now I'm going to pull the leaves off of it, as you can see me doing. Okay. All right, it's plenty long enough for an arrow, but it's too long. And where I'm going to build my nock, I'll show you right here. See right here, it's way too narrow for your nock plus a string. You'll just end up breaking one of the ears off. So let's go down another one. Okay, this right here, it's plenty wide enough for your string plus your nock to be built. So we'll give it a little rough cut. We'll finish it later. All right, there it is. You can see, plenty long enough for an arrow. It's still a little too long. So what I'm going to do now is measure it for my draw length. And the way I do that, I take it roughly where my nock's at, put it right there on my neck, just like so. And right there where my fingers touch is where I want to cut it at, because that's where my draw will be. So we'll give it a rough cut right in there. Okay, that piece of cane that we've just cut and trimmed, it's ready to be put up and dried for a month or two until we get ready to make an arrow out of it. And we'll go back, put this up, and I already got some that's dried, and we'll show you how to get an arrow out of this piece of cane. Okay, we went and picked our cane. We've let it dry. Right here's what we began with, and right here is the finished product. Arrow ready to go hunting with a legal tip, which in Oklahoma it's 1.5 inches long by 7/8 wide, which mine are always a little bit bigger, just to be sure. We got fletching right here, sinew wrap with high glue holding it on, painted up a little bit for decorations, and we're ready to go. Okay, what we have here is a bow dart tree, which most of y'all know is a horse apple. Well, it grows wild all around these farmlands around where I come from, and it makes a really good bow, and especially these two that I've noticed. I come down here, a guy told me he had some bow dart on his land, and I said, well, I'd like to come take a look at it. And I seen it, and it was great. I believe it'll make a great bow. I hope it does. So, yeah, as you can see, I mean, they're straight as an arrow, but most bow darts will grow 2-3 foot and then just start branching out. You know, it's hard to get a good bow out of that. But these young ones right here,
I believe if we cut them right at the base and then cut them up there about 6.5, 7 foot, took them back home and peeled the bark off, then we'd let them set for 4 or 5 months, just however long it takes them to start showing the natural split. Once it starts showing that split, I will take it and set it on the floor and get 2 hatchet blades and maybe some shims, and I'll go for that split and split the rest of this all the way down. Okay, once we do that, I'll be able to tell more about it. You know, if there's a bad spot, a knot that's in the wrong place, you know, we may or may not be able to use it, but I sure hope we can, because it is a really good looking tree. And hopefully within 6 months, I'll have a good shooting self bow made out of it.
Now that I've gone through the steps of making your equipment for hunting, I've got my lifetime license, and let's go bow hunting.